Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing on this Wednesday morning? Just 1 second. Oh, a little bit over the time this morning. I will say, I had a very deep sleep last night, guys. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. This is Reganelite here on the 23rd of July, 2025 at 8 a.m. at UK time. We are dual streaming live on youtube.com/Reganelite and on twitch.tv/Reganelite1 for reference. We're going to have a look at local weather. We're going to have a look at the UK weather. We're going to have a look at today's daily quota. I'm going to share about the story about how I got my blood donated. And as you guys, if I can show you guys here. Can you guys see the dot? I don't know if you guys can see the dot. Yeah, you probably can't see it, but basically that's where the needle was put in. I'll share that story in a little bit with you guys. It's the good morning, Stephen Banker. I hope you are doing well. Good to see you there. It's always nice to see familiar faces as always. Just a reminder, if you haven't already, please hit that like button. Share this across social media. Subscribe if you haven't already. All that stuff really does help support the channel. So we'll start off with today's daily quota, guys. And we said yesterday that it was an anonymous daily quota as well. So here it is, because I always like to show what it is, so you guys know exactly what it says it is. That way you know I'm not lying to you when I tell you what today's daily quota is as well. So, may the best day of your past be the worst day of your future. May the best day of your past be the worst day of your future. That is today's anonymous daily quota, because that was an anonymous one. Tomorrow's one is by Thomas Avia Edison. But as always with all these daily calendar quotes, guys, you will have to wait till tomorrow for that one. A very interesting one tomorrow as well there. Good morning, Ellie. Hope you are doing well. Good to see you there in the chat. So before we go to the main weather, let's have a look at the local weather here in London. Why is it doing that? So it is currently 16 degrees here in the capital. Oh, the window is open. I wasn't sure if the window is open. I'm not feeling a breeze at all. Doesn't seem to be any wind at all. Yeah, so there is forecast of some light rains are forecast here today. There is a percentage of some showers here and there that is forecast, but it's very light. I think even when we looked at the weather yesterday, you could see there wasn't too many rain showers around, but there's like tiny little dots jotted around places. So there's like an occasion, you might get an occasional bit of rainfall and a bit not, and basically like an on-off switch here in London. Highest temperatures will reach as high as 23 degrees. That's the same as yesterday, so temperatures won't get too warm for us here, but that's the maximum temperature. It is saying there's a 100% chance of rain, so there's going to be some dotted showers of rain, but how much of it in one go is probably just on and off it will be here in London. As for other days of the week, 24 degrees tomorrow, 35% chance forecast of rain. Friday, 26 degrees with sunshine and clouds on that day. That's going to be the warmest day of the week, will be Friday. Saturday, 25 degrees, cloudy expected all day. Doesn't seem to be forecast of any rain, but that can possibly change. There is a 50% chance of rain forecast on Sunday as well at 23 degrees. Temperatures expected to rise to 24, 26 and 25 in London Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, respectively there. So that is some of the local weather there. So let's have a look and see what the BBC weather report is saying here, guys. So we always go to a bit more in the afternoon. So this is what it's forecast at the moment from the outset here. On the outset here, yeah, as you can see, not too much rain. It's more dotted around. There's no like big storm, if you know what I mean. So you got temperatures obviously 19, 18, 19, Cardiff 21, London 21 respectfully there, but nothing that screams that it's going to be too much of an issue really. The temperature is going to be fine. It's not going to be too warm. It's not going to be too much, I would say. I still feel there is some humidity in the air that we haven't still gotten past yet, but unfortunately that's still there. But these temperatures are not too bad, if you can see here, or even all the way up in Scotland. They're going to be pretty fine. So I expect it to be a pretty good day. I would still recommend taking a brolly with you just in case, wherever you are in the UK, just in case it does decide to shower off all of a sudden out of nowhere wherever you are. It's very possible that can happen. So tomorrow's forecast here on Thursday. This is 1 o'clock in the afternoon, as you can see on the bottom right hand screen. So you got big pool of. There is some quite some nestles of showers here in the eastern part of England. Here, Cambridge, Market, Salisbury. I'm just going to see where did that rain come from? So it came from the north. So it's blowing in from the north, that rain. So I'm assuming, yeah, it's going to hit London. It's going to go through London as well. So yeah, we are going to get some showers in the capital tomorrow. That's for sure. Just from those bits, there's no way we'll dodge some of that there. But temperatures, you can see roughly around about the same as it was yesterday there. Not too much. Again, little scatters of shower, but nothing too serious there. And again, nothing too much showers scattered around too much here. Even in the north of England to the south of Scotland, little bits of shower, but nothing too much there. Temperatures 19, 20, 21 up in north of Scotland there. Belfast 19 and Dublin respectfully there. If we go to long forecast, we go to Friday 1 o'clock in the afternoon. You can see there's no forecast of any rain. We saw this already, but just to reiterate once again, but the temperatures are going to be much higher. London is going to be 24 degrees, so it's going to get hotter here. Cardiff 23, Manchester 21, 19, Belfast, Dublin. Edinburgh is reportedly forecast at 18 degrees there. That's some of the forecast there. Let's just have a quick look at Saturday. Saturday, again, doesn't look like any forecast of any rain whatsoever is dropping whatsoever on Saturday. Again, 23, 22 temperatures, Manchester 19 there, Edinburgh 17 there. You can see some of the temperature lineups around. It's going to be fine for you guys up in Scotland, for north of England, bit of Manchester 20, 21, so a little bit warmer. But obviously the capital will feel a little bit more heat. I would say once again, if it goes above 25, then obviously it'd be quite strong for us. But it doesn't look like we're going to hit those kind of temperatures, which is a good sign there. Because that's some of the forecast there for the weather. Just give me 1 second. I just need to adjust one or two things. Good morning, Mithril. Hope you are doing well. Good to see you there. And rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. Yes, Ozzy Osbourne. Obviously, the big story, of course, is the loss of Ozzy Osbourne. To die at 70, is it 76? I believe he died at the age at. I wasn't so much into the rock music, me personally, but I have obviously I've obviously heard some of his songs, but I've never been like proper into it. But obviously he is the Dark Lord. He is the king when it came to the music, you know. And I think he lived quite a tremendous life, you know, for him. A tremendous life without a shadow of a doubt. And I think it's I think to live as long as he's had is I think it's a you know, obviously you want people to live longer, and but he had a good life, and I think that's the best way you could try to think about it. You know, known as the people's Prince of Darkness, what more can you say about the man? I mean, he's left songs that people will forever remember. Like I said, I've not been a major rock person, but I'm obviously very familiar with him. I've actually watched, I mean, actually, believe it or not, I've actually watched, I think it was on MTV, The Osbournes. I think I've watched a couple of years ago, ages ago, where I've watched a couple of his shows. And all I just remember is him going, the thing I just remember from the show, all I just remember him shouting, Sharon! 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 That's one of the things I just remember, him just shouting, Sharon! It's one of the memories that really sticks out for me is the way he calls Sharon in the show. It's absolutely brilliant. Alison Keir, good to see you there. I hope you are doing well. Right, let me talk a little bit about what happened yesterday, guys. So, as you guys know, I went and get my blood donation, but as I said in the post, it didn't exactly go to plan. So, what happened? So, again, there it is there, just for reference, in case anyone's interested. That's where they injected in. So, you're told prior and beforehand to, if you can, please eat and drink plenty of water before you go in. I had a big lunch, intentionally had a big lunch, which I don't normally do. I don't normally go and get a big lunch because it costs money to get a big lunch. But as it's my first blood donation, like I didn't want to take any chances. Unfortunately, I had my lunch a bit too early, and I ended up just sitting around staring at my phone quite a while before I actually went in, which was actually a very silly thing for me to do because all I ended up doing was getting a migraine, and so I was going in with a migraine, which was not a good sign. Was not good. I was trying to laugh it off, play it off, sort of thing. I did reveal to the nurse that I did have a slight migraine, but it wasn't like something. It was just like something normal. It wasn't really too much of an issue. So in this one in particular, I went to it was in Catford, called like at a church basically. You're not actually in the church, but like it's part of a building sort of thing. Very easy to go into. So I went in, said my name, and they sat you down. They give you a form to fill in. Basically the same online. It's almost the same thing as when you fill it online. That gives you, obviously you got to go through the check boxes to say you haven't done this, 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 which I was doing. All throughout this time I was nervous as hell. Now they give you a free cup of water as well, and that's not the only cup of water they give you for free. And then once you're called, they take you. Then the nurse then takes you again. Another nurse takes you into a room. Just ask some questions if you have any questions to ask. If you're obviously signing yet your consent obviously to donate blood, because you got to obviously give your consent to do so. The lady was very, very nice. She was a very, very nice lady. The one who was helpful to me. She had to prick my finger to test the iron levels of my blood. You have to have a certain level of iron in your blood before you can donate. If you don't have enough iron, they can't donate. Because I think it's because they can't get they won't be able to get extract any blood out of you if you don't have a certain amount of iron. But apparently my iron levels were very good, so that's a very good sign. So it's good to know that my iron levels are pretty high. I was saying I do take vitamins every morning as well, and she said, yeah, most people who donate blood are vitamin takers anyway, so that's a good sign, she said, as well. And I was just asking like what happens in the procedure sort of thing. So she basically said what normally happens is it takes about sometimes 5 minutes. She says normally it takes to donate. Sometimes it takes longer, and it says it all depends on the body, on the person itself, because every person is different. Some people take longer, some people take shorter. And then obviously she asked, which arm did you want to do it in? And I'm left-handed, so I was like, okay, I'm going to go left-handed because, you know, I thought I'd just go left-handed. So they put me on this very weird chair, and I do call it a weird chair. It's like the ones you go to a dental when you go to get your teeth done, guys. At a dental, if you ever been to a dental or whatnot, you know those big long chairs where they pull you back on, sort of thing. One of those. So it's like one of those. So they've been situated in this hall where everyone gets their blood donated, right? So put me in the chair, and I'm just told to keep doing this, keep doing this, and keep moving your toes and fingers, basically, to keep blood flowing, because they said it's really, really important you keep the blood flowing when you're doing this, right? So I'm doing this on the arm while she's just strapping it in and all the kind of stuff, right? At no point did I ever look at my arm while she was doing any of this, because I didn't want to look at the needle. I didn't want to look at it being going in and all that kind of stuff. Because I know a lot of people are not a fan of needles, which is totally understandable. I'm not going to say I fear needles. I just don't like looking at it. So, and then once all the checks were done and everything, and then it was just like, she was saying she was going to tell me when I was going to put the needle in. I'd say, okay, are you ready? We're going to put the needle in now. I was like, okay, I'm ready. And felt it going in. I was like, oh, that's... that was sharp. That needle was sharp. That was a lot, and it's I even remember when I took the COVID jabs, and even the needles were not as sharp as what I felt with that. That was quite. It went quite deep, but it hit the blood vessel. But here I am, just keep doing this, as it went right, as the needle went right into me. I didn't look, never looked at all. I didn't look at all, seeing the ink, so whatsoever, and I didn't even feel blood coming out of me when they said the procedure was starting, right? So obviously just making sure it's all going well and whatnot. And then it took a while took about, I think, another minute or two before finally blood was finally flowing from the arm into the bag. And she just kept saying, just make sure you just keep doing, just keep the blood flowing. You seem to be doing pretty good. And it's just like, yep, okay, that's great. You know, I was very happy. Like, blood seemed to be flowing all right, flying out. It was taking a while to shimmer it and get it actually out and whatnot. So blood was going directly into the bag. So apparently, never looked at the bag, by the way, just for reference as well. And then about, I think, another a minute and a half, she didn't leave my side, because normally what they would do is they would leave, then they would come back once you finish donating. But then there was an issue. Then there was some kind of issue with it. It wasn't. It stopped flowing or something. They saying it was clogging up. So the nurse called another nurse over to basically have a look at it to see what it was, and basically they said no, it's too clogged up now. And I was like, and then they said, unfortunately we can't take any more. For some reason it's clogged up. Like, we can't risk you taking another one. They basically said that if I hadn't taken any blood at all, I could come back next week. But because blood went into the bag, I couldn't take any. So I don't even know if I took half a bag. I'm going to assume I didn't take that much blood, but it still counts as a blood donation because I did give blood. So a part of me was very happy, but a part that I gave blood, but there's a part of me that's very, very annoyed that I didn't give a full back. So technically, it doesn't feel like I did a full blood donation. I felt like I did a proper blood donation, so I'm a bit annoyed about that. So yeah, pulled the needle out of me. You covered it up, all that kind of stuff. Took me a while before they could finally get the off the chair. Like the whole time while I was just sitting there, I was just really, like, I wasn't happy. I was really annoyed, guys. I generally was really, really annoyed that there was something preventing me from donating blood. And my first thought was, I should have gone with the right arm. That was one of the first thing I said in my mind. I said, I should have gone with the right arm, guys. Should have gone with the right arm. But gave me all the things I needed to give, and then they sat me down in front of all this food, because they offer you lots of food and snacks basically, and then you have to sit there for at least 10 minutes after you've donated blood, drink water, eat some snacks, to kind of just regenerate. And obviously they want to keep an eye on you to see that you're okay before you leave as well, because obviously some people faint when they donate blood. Some people can have some kind of different reactions to blood donations, of course, and obviously this is my first. And I was just telling the nurse who was there off, with all these crisps and biscuits and all that in front of me. I was just saying, like, I'm happy I donated for the first time. I'm just annoyed that I didn't donate a full bag. That was it. So I was really, really annoyed at the time. Bearing in mind also, guys, I had a migraine as well, and I didn't go to the loo as well before as well. So I had a couple of things going on while I was also as well. So after I sat for about 10 minutes, had food and snack, I basically left, went to the loo, and then I walked home, which was about 25 to 25 minute walk from where I was. I didn't want to get the bus. I wanted to walk. I wanted to get the fresh air, and yeah, I managed to walk home all right. I was just like in the back of my mind, I was thinking, am I going to feel dizzy? I was feeling tired. I was feeling exhausted. And so when I got home, my partner's mum was at home. It's her day off. It was her day off anyway. She was asking how it was and all whatnot. And I was extremely exhausted when I got home. I was extremely exhausted. And it's like an hour and a half before the live stream yesterday. So I was like thinking to myself, there's no way I can live stream in my current state of affairs. And then somehow I managed to scramble together some content for you guys, and then I still crashed on the bed like literally 10-20 minutes before the live stream, and I was like, I shouldn't be doing this live stream. And yeah, somehow I came on yesterday and I seemed pretty okay. I don't know, I guess sometimes when you have a really big migraine, distractions really do help sometimes rather than trying to sleep it off, and that's kind of what happened. So and you guys saw yesterday the plaster I had on. They said I had to keep the plaster on for at least 6 hours. So before I went to bed, I took it off. Yeah, I did not like trying to peel that off my skin. That was quite tight on my skin. Ugh, hated it. But I got it off in the end, and I slept like a log last night. I slept like a log. I woke up at like 20 past 5, something like that. Couldn't go back to sleep after that. So But yeah, so I can't donate any more blood until November at least. So, and for some reason the NHS has my old address and not my new one, which is also a bit annoying as well. That was the other annoying little thing as well. So yeah, I've got to wait till November. Pretty much, yeah, late November before I can donate again. So hopefully late November I can do a proper full bag, but we'll have to wait and see there, guys. They will get the plasma and other things in that blood Reganelite. Yeah, oh, that's good. I'm not allowed to give blood to Steven Banker. My mum gives blood twice a year for decades. Got her wee pin badges. Yeah, there were like they had in front of the food and stacks. There was like a sticker badge saying first donor, and I was like, it doesn't feel like a first donation because it wasn't a full bag. So for me, it's like yeah. If I do a full bag, then I'll probably take a sticker just to make myself feel good. The wheelchair, I remember them at one point. I gave a donation in 3.5 minutes as I cycled to the place. They wouldn't let me go for about an hour. I thought I had something wrong with me. To be honest, they never like I still have people they never stop you leaving. Like they don't stop you leaving. It's kind of like they're there if you need. They basically just want to make sure you're okay before you leave. That's all it is really. Good morning, Alex Adams. I don't know if I said good morning before. Hope you're doing well. My first single was Paranoid in 1978, I think. Is that the film you're talking about there? Alex Adams. I even told them I had to cycle to the place, and the bike was in the hall. I'm surprised you didn't make rest first. Yep, I thought I was going to be waiting longer, but arrived, and then they got going under 5 minutes. That's surprising. I'm surprised they didn't make you wait a little bit. DPs and NHS use different computer systems. Yeah. Like there was one other lady who couldn't go, who had to read, who said she hadn't read the procedure, so she couldn't. She wasn't allowed to basically. She wasn't allowed to go through the process until she read and understood everything. So yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. Maybe I don't know what it was, but I'm definitely going to try the other arm next time I donate. And I don't know if I'm going to do it every 4 months, but I definitely want to do at least a full bag. So that's why I'm going to try again in November as soon as possible, because part of me does still feel a bit annoyed about it. But yes, I appreciate everyone saying everyone's saying well done and all that kind of stuff. Like the thing is, and I suppose the question is, Regan, people asking me, why did I donate blood? Because I haven't done. I wanted to do something good. One of the things I do want to do is a charity run of some sorts in the future as well. One of the things I would want to do is a London Marathon. My brother has been trying to apply for the London Marathon for years, and he just can't get in. But London Marathon is definitely something I want to do. I know there are some half marathons and whatnot. Like I just want to do 1 or 2 voluntary donations and raise money for things. But I thought this one is quite easy to do. Because even though you get easy to do, because I feel like I'm hoping that my blood is something that I want to basically make a difference. Like I'm not ruling out the possibility of possibly giving a kidney donor as well, which my missus just stared at me and she's like, no, you're not doing that. And I was just like, well, I don't drink essentially a lot, so I don't really need a second kidney, do I? But that's something I'm possibly thinking about as well, guys. So anyways, enough about my story. So that's the end of the story anyway, guys. So we'll try it again in November. I need to make a sticky note to do that as well. I'll book that on the calendar in 4 months' time. Actually, I should do that while I'm chatting to you guys as well. Yeah, it was it was a little bit weird though, yeah, being in the hallway and there's all these other people here, all got the same chairs. Like there are some people who were just calm and relaxed on their phone while they were donating blood. Some people were longer than others, obviously. I would say so. Late November, blood donating. Yeah, I love having these sticky notes. They save me so much trouble. So much information. Right, let's have a look at some of the news that's been happening in the UK, guys. Shall we have a look, yeah, what's been going on? We'll start with The Guardian here. So, Reform councillors criticised after voting to spend £150,000 on political advisors. Plan was put forward by 19-year-old leader of Warwick Council, George Flynn, who was also lobbied to remove the pride flag. So, they have apparent. So, here's the thing, right? Reform talking about cutting money, cutting taxes, cutting money, saving money for the councils, right? They always talk about efficiencies here. Where is the efficiency in this? This is blatant hypocrisy here. Blatant hypocrisy. £150,000 on political advisors. Look, I understand that some of these councillors are new. I understand the job is maybe not what they thought it would be, and it can be difficult, and they need some. I can understand if they need an advisor to help them, if they need some people to help them get them going to do their job. I understand that. I really do understand that. But there's no justification for spending this amount of money. There is just none. There is no justification for spending this kind of money. This is a huge amount of waste of council money when that money could be going to much more important things here. It's just an absolute ridiculous waste of money. So Reform councils have been accused of hypocrisy after voting to spend £150,000 on hiring political advisors at a county council despite pledging to cut waste and save money. The plans were put forward by Reform councillor George Finch, a 19-year-old who was narrowly elected as leader of Warwickshire County Council during a meeting on Tuesday, which was picketed by protesters. The protest came after a row over an attempt by Finch as interim leader to have a pride flag removed from the council's headquarters before the end of Pride Month. The chief executive refused the request, telling him he was responsible for such decisions. However, there was fresh controversy during a meeting of the councils, one of several where Reform became the largest party in recent local elections, as it narrowly pushed through the plans to hire political advisors, but lost a separate vote relating to the climate crisis. Opposition councillors accused Reform of regaining on promises to voters over the political advisors, who would be publicly funded for it, and other two larger parties, the Conservatives and Lib Dems. Quote, these proposals are all about spending some money so they can have a chum in their groups. And I think it's not particularly helpful given the financial state of this council, says George Charlotte, councillor and deputy leader of the Liberal Democrats. Yeah, that was almost a quarter of the way through the financial year, and there had yet to be any proposals from Reform about managing the authority budget. Sam Jones, a Green Party councillor, said Reform have had a sniff of power, and they're making it so clear that they've never cared a jot for the will of the supporters. No to overpaid, unelected bureaucrats before the election, but yes, up to £150,000 of unfunded spending on political assistance now that the campaigning is over. So Flinch defended the plans, which would involve a political assistant for each of the three parties, on the basis it was permitted by legislation and occurred in other councils. If other parties were against it, he challenged them to vote against the plan, but then choose not to hire political assistants. So his colleague, the councillor Michael Banisher, said his party saw the move as value for money, and funds would be found from elsewhere. Value for money, 150. So his colleague says it's value for money. Okay. However, there was defeat for Reform when opposition MPs supported a Green motion to recognise the scientific evidence clearly states climate change is happening, and supports the Council's 2019 vote to declare climate emergency. We are here as local people sorting out local problems. It is ridiculous to be asking for anything else, said Reform councillor Luke Cooper, who said he had experience of installing solar panels and measures that he said people could not afford. I do accept, that there is a cost, obviously, to installing solar panels, but that's why there's government subsidies here for some of these as well. Sarah Finley, the Labour leader, said the climate crisis was not a hypothetical and was already having a major impact on farmers, and with flooding causing elderly people to sometimes barricade themselves in their home. Tracy Drew, a Green Party councillor, said the least well-off in our country are going to be the first and most impacted by the effects of climate change. Outside the council meeting, demonstrators including Becky Davison, a district councillor, who said she was there to support the LGBT community. Finch was using a marginalised community as a propaganda tool, she said. Caroline, a resident of Stratford-upon-Avon, was holding a placard reading Donald Trump inspires Farage to import the UK DEI, division, exclusion, inequality. She said she was worried about Reform overturning policies about recognising the climate emergency, and that she was there to object to Flinch's pettiness over the pride flag. And it is pettiness is what it is. Stories like these need to be constantly promoted and reminded to people out there who think that the Reform are the best thing forward here. because you have to point out the hypocrisy here, saying, well, you're against Conservative and Labour. You want them to cut money and save money and all this kind of stuff. Do you think it's okay for Reform to spend £150,000 of taxpayer money on political advisors? I mean, isn't this a quango in itself here? This story here. I mean, I feel like this is a quango in itself. When they keep, I don't even know what the bloody word means. I don't even know why they use the term quango, but there you go. Thank you, Alistair here, for the first super chat of the day. Much appreciated. Just to start the goal, Democratic Penguins Republic. Yes, all hail the Democratic Penguins Republic. Pingu was here yesterday. He was here yesterday, and Pingu is here this morning. He just wants to say thank you for your support, guys. Really appreciate it. Keir Starmer urged to honour the pledge to emblem speaking skills in English schools. Speaking skills. Author Michael Rossen among advocates calling for orgy to be in a curriculum. Jones Riker, Michael Rossen, the one-time political strategist, Alistair Campbell, former Education Secretary, urged the Prime Minister to honour his pre-election pledge to embedded speaking skills in English schools. There are among 60 signatories in an open letter to Keir Starmer calling on him to establish an oratory as a core part of Labour's revised national curriculum and make it the fourth R in education, alongside reading, writing and arithmetic. Supporters were delighted when Labour announced in 2023 that teaching oratory, as defined as developing skills in use in spoken language, would be a central part of Labour's educational priorities if it won the next election. However, campaigners said it was not mentioned in the interim report of the government's curriculum and assessment review earlier this year, leading to fears oratory may have slipped down the educational agenda. The full report is due later this year. That's organised by Voice 21, the UK's leading oratory charity education, said 2 years ago he pledged that under your Labour government every child would be supported to develop an essential oratory skill as part of a mission to ensure all young people are prepared to work and ready for life. We urge you to turn that promise into lasting change in a world shaped by rapid advances in artificial intelligence, deeply the social divides, and persistent inequality in skills, speaking, listening and communication, who have never been more urgently needed. Yeah, children obviously learning to speak, I think, is very, very important. I don't know enough about this orgy, so I'm going to be honest. I can't comment too much on this. But what I will say is that like all kids need to be able to learn and speak English, the English language properly in schools. And obviously some need more help than others. Obviously, I'm aware of some people who have disabilities or disadvantages when it comes to being able to speak at all, never mind just English. So that is a challenge in itself. I think that's more of an issue around SEND that need to do when it comes to that. So I don't know enough about it, so I'm probably going to avoid talking about that story if I'm honest. So Indian Prime Minister is to make a UK state visit to sign a landmark trade deal. Another state visit. Britain car and whiskey industry set for a boost while India gets visa concessions, but some sensitive issues unresolved. India's Prime Minister Modi is visiting London to sign a landmark trade agreement between his country and the UK, a pact viewed as a political and economic prize amid global threat tensions unleashed by US President Donald Trump. For Britain, eager to score points post-Brexit win, the deal is most economically significant trade since leaving the EU. For India, it marks the first free major trade pact outside Asia. For both analysts say the agreement signals a long-term economic partnership. During 2 days Modi's during state visit on Wednesday, today, he's fourth to the UK as Prime Minister, will hold wide-ranging talks with his counterpart, Keir Starmer, on trade, defence, technological cooperation and security. Also pay a courtesy call on King Charles, according to Indian government statement. India's to firm on key demands during negotiation, winning concessions on work visas, reconciliation of professional qualities and exemptions for national insurance contributions for Indian nationals working temporarily in the UK, and all long-standing sticking points. I mean, this is good. This is good for our economy. This will be good for our economy. This. I'm sure there are things that the right will not be happy about. They're gonna it's not open borders for Indian people to come in. But there are concessions that the government has to make. That is for sure. I wouldn't call it like the best trade deal possible or anything like that. I wouldn't go that far, but I still think it's still a positive nonetheless. Thanks for popping in, Alex. I much appreciate it. What's worse than a reform councillor? A teenager reform councillor. Yeah. I mean, the thing is that he's very young. James Cleverly to return as Shadow Housing Secretary in Tory reshuffle. So they're doing a reshuffle. James Cleverly will return to the Conservative front bench as a new Shadow Housing Secretary, facing off against Angela Rayner as part of a reshuffle in Kevin Baganott's Shadow Cabinet. He's not. No, he's not the one who. He's not the one who had the horse stables, is it? No, that was it wasn't it Kwasi Kwarteng who heated these horses. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Bagnot has kept much of her top team in place, including the Shadow Chancellor Mel Stride, the Shadow Home Secretary Robert Jenrick, and the Shadow Foreign Secretary Preet Patel. Despite grumblings from some backbenchers, they would like to see promotions for some new generation Conservative MPs. Richard Holden, the party's former chair, came under fire for switching seats at the last election, and will also return to the Shadow Cabinet with the Transport Brief. Also promoted is Neil O'Brien, former Levelling Up Minister, who will attend Shadow Cabinet with a brief of policy development. Like, Bagnite is still keeping the same old people in charge. Like, it's just like, you're not going to put new faces in front of the Labour government. If you're not going to put new faces in front of them, don't expect people to just turn their votes back to Conservative. People have not forgotten what you guys done for 15 years in charge. Like, if you put some new faces in, it would be a major boost in terms of polling and it would be a major boost for votes and polling for Conservatives if they switched up their shadow bench. It really, really would. They should put some new Conservative MPs there. Like, sticking with the old guard is not a good thing for them. Really, really, it's not. Len McCluskey took private jet flights arranged by building firm report claims. Who's the union boss? Contract on union's disastrous hotel project also allegedly gave football tickets to former union boss. Accepted private jet flights to football tickets arranged by the company building multi-million-pound hotel for unicorns in internal dossier. Yeah, you're not looking very good. Not very good. Good morning, Witchy Goth. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, rest in peace to Ozzy Osbourne. Rest in peace indeed. Good morning, Billy Kershaw. Hope you're doing well. Yes, Andy is trying to bully BBC over its Gaza coverage, says Wolf Hall director. And they're getting bashed either way, BBC. They are getting bashed whatever they do. They can't really win, is the best thing I can say. Tories say Starmer has a disconnect from reality over housing asylum seekers. Politics Live. I've said this about this incident. Like, get them out of that hotel. Just get them out of that hotel. They're no longer safe. The police are not safe. The protesters who are doing this, they're not safe. And for the people in the neighborhood, it's not fair for them. Like, get them out of the hotel. Just stop messing about with the incident and get them out of the hotel at this point. To see what else there is. A Dover asylum protest posed danger to small boat arrivals, charity says. Ministers urged to help students trapped in Gaza with places at UK university. Eurostar calls for a credible channel rail strategy as monopoly decision looms. Operator says if arrivals are allowed to squeeze into existing facilities, it could jeopardise its investment. Eurostar has urged the UK government to choose a credible long-term strategy for international rail or risk falling behind the rest of Europe before a crucial decision by the regulator could end its cross-channel monopoly. The high-speed train operator warned a premature ruling from the Office of Rail and Road to allow competitors to squeeze trains into existing facilities could jeopardise its planned investment and expansion. Instead, it's calling for big-picture thinking from the government to enable more capacity for rail overseas, which it said could produce more high-skilled jobs and growth. Eurostar is on the verge of finalising an order for 50 more high-speed trains to upgrade and expand its fleet and has pledged new direct routes to Frankfurt and Geneva. A number of potential competitors are, however, hoping to break its 30-year exclusive hold on passenger train service through the Channel Tunnel. Virgin Group, the British Star, Gemini Trains, and a partnership between the Italian state operator FS Italian and Spanish convoy Everlong are among those vying for spaces. While the owners of the rail infrastructure, Eurostar, Pilot, GetLink, and London St Pancras High Speed, formerly HS1, are keen to drive more business, rivals have been unable to secure space to house and maintain high-speed trains in Great Britain. Capacity for more service has been focused on one functioning deposit at Temple Hills in East London, with Eurostar insisting it's full and can only accommodate its own growth plans with an €80 million investment. Yeah, the government needs to sort this out. Yeah, when I think about connections. Just going off topic, one of the things that sticks in my mind is why we don't have a train or a road connection between either Scotland, Northern Ireland, or England, Northern Ireland. Like, why we don't have some kind of land connection of some sorts to Ireland is something that really does baffle me. It's something that really, really still baffles me. Like, if we are able to build the Eurostar tunnel, like, an infrastructure project connecting like Northern Ireland to the rest of the UK, whether it's via a train tunnel or road tunnel, that should be something that should be considered as well. Like, I just think something like that would really make a massive difference in terms of, for in the long term for our economy. I don't know why this is not something that's been discussed more. I really don't understand why it's not something that's been discussed more. Yeah, I slept like a log last night, which you got. So my night's not been perfect either, to be fair. Any other stories that we don't know about? No. Right, let's move on from The Guardian. We've been covering it for quite a bit there. Hello, Sky News. Are you there? Yeah, you are up there. James Cleverly, speaking of Sky News, so you're going to hear more of him again. Nigel Farage hails big step forward as Reform UK recruits first seed member. 2-hour screen time limit to be for children being considered by the government. Technology Secretary tells Sky News to make an announcement on compulsory screen time as the survey shows teenagers are spending hours a day scrolling. Yeah, this needs to stop. They need to do something about this. Social media limits for children are being planned by the government to tackle compulsive screen time. The Technology Secretary scolded on news. Peter Carr said he's concerned about the overall amount of time kids spend on these apps as well as the content they see. A 2-hour cap per platform is seriously being considered after meeting with current and former tech companies. A nighttime or school time curfew has also been discussed. Children would be blocked from accessing apps such as TikTok and Snapchat once they've hit the limit, rather than just reminded of how long they have been scrolling. It is understood. An announcement on screen time is expected this autumn. As Carl said, I'll be making an announcement on these things in the near future. I'm looking very carefully about the overall time kids spend on these apps. I think some parents feel a bit disempowered about how to actually make their kids healthier online. I think some kids feel that sometimes there is so much compulsive behavioural interactions with the apps, they need some help just to take control of their online lives. And those are things I'm looking at really carefully. We talk a lot about online childhood offline. Healthy childhood offline. We need to do the same online. I think sleep is very important. We need to be able to focus on studying is very important. Charlotte 17 says she believes there needs to be harsher controls. Yeah, I do think something needs to be done. He added he wanted to stop children spreading hours viewing content which isn't criminal but unhealthy and overrule some of these apps. I think we can incentivize the companies that we can set a slightly different threshold. That would just be a tip of balance in favor of parents not always being the ones being who are just ripping phones out of their hands, kids' hands, but having a really awkward, difficult conversation around it. He added. Mr. Carl spoke exclusively to Sky News after a meeting for a group of pupils from Dartford who have spent years participating in regular focus groups about smartphones and local media, organised by their Labour MP Lola MV. They took part in a survey of 10,000 children from the town, mostly aged 14 and 15, which they found that 40% of them spend at least 6 hours a day online. 1 in 5 spend as long as 8 hours scrolling. Most of them under 16, 55% has seen inappropriate sexual or violent content, often unprompted. And 3/4 of the under 16s have been contacted online by strangers. In a session in Parliament with which the children were asked what were they most concerned about, Jacob 15 says the lack of restrictions on screen time, I would personally say, which leads to people scrolling for hours on TikTok. Yeah, TikTok is I don't scroll, like I use TikTok to plug my short videos, but I never scroll TikTok, guys. I never scroll it because I know it's just highly addictive. People just glued to their eyes to their phone and spend hours on it instead of seeing the real world. Tom 17 said, I get the feeling you have to be quite tech savvy to protect your kids online. You have to go into the settings and work out each one. There should be a default. It needs to be straight away day one. Matthew 15 says, I think every white body is online all the time and there's no real modernisation to what people can say or what that can be shared. It can really affect people's lives because it's always there. As soon as I wake up, I check my phone until I go for bed. The only time I take a break from it is when I'm eating or when I'm talking to someone. Some of my teenagers spend 12 hours or even up to 16 hours a day online. Yeah. Yeah, it's really hard for me. It's really hard for me to put this down. So I understand. Yeah, I understand the difficulty. It's a frustration, you know. No worries, Steam Banker. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Oh, congratulations on completing your degree, Witchy Goth there. Dirtruthnet, good to see you there as well. Yeah, just, yeah, on this, obviously, there needs to be something needs to be done. Government needs to do something about that. I think we're all in agreement on that. The mad situation blamed for slowing building projects. The top global banker sounds warning to read on tax and regulation. Are you basically saying, please don't bank us? We're making lots and lots of money, and we want to keep making plenty of money. Don't listen to that Gary Stevenson guy. Just ignore him. Is that what he's going to say? Yeah. Rest in peace, Ozzy Osbourne. What a wonderful life he's had. Brewdog to shut down 10 bars, including Flagship, as bosses hit out of reports over staff notice. Yeah, see, they're no different. They're no different than Weatherspoons, guys. No different. Shutting down, kicking people out on the street. More people out of a job. Worth up to £224. Why there's no such thing as a non-refundable plane ticket. Police attend protests outside London in which will house asylum seekers. This is why I'm hesitant to buy. I don't like taking planes very often. Yeah, because of the I've never had the issue of having to deal with a refund. And I hope I never have that issue. Ex-union cost, Millen McCuskey, this is BBC, took a private jet range for building funds. Just had a look at that briefly. Cleverly returns to Tory front bench. Deprivatisation and immigration straining social cohesion, said Rayner. UK to use AI to stop adult migrants posing as children. Higher borrowing adds to pressure on Reeves. The 5-day doctor strike will go ahead, says the BMA. Sizewell nuclear power plant could rise to £38 billion. That's a lot of money. Gang leader and corrupt officials could be named in smuggling sanctions. That's not going to stop them. Blair discount desires to close cause concerns number 10 files a show. Teenager voted as UK's youngest council leader. I'm assuming that's a reform one. Welsh Conservative Laura Ann Jones defects to reform. No thanks. Let me just see this one. See, politician Laura Ann Jones has defected from the Conservative to reform. The party leader Nigel Farage has announced. Jones becomes the party's first member of the Seed, MS, and is Reform's highest profile defection in Wales. She said she can no longer justify Conservative politics on the doorstep. The announcement prompted anger amongst Welsh Tories. Seed Conservative leader Darren Mears said voters in the region of South Wales will feel very let down by her announcement. At the news conference, Jones decided to rule herself out of being leader of the party in Wales. Recent polls suggest Reform has a chance of being the largest party at the next May's Seed election. Tuesday's news follows the decision of former Conservative Welsh Secretary David Jones to join Reform UK in weeks of speculation that the party was trying to persuade an MS to join. The definition comes just under a year after since Jones apologised for using a racial slur about Chinese people in a WhatsApp chat. She had been investigated by the Seed Standard Commissioner Douglas Barn, a probe believed to be relating to allegations of bullying by a senior member of staff. Hinting that she was about to be cleared, Jones said she has seen the report and is confident with the outcome. A police investigation and complaints about her expenses found no evidence of fraudulent activities. They're just conservatives. They're just conservatives. The Reform. Just all they keep doing is taking on more and more conservatives. They're no different than the Conservatives. Features and analysis here. Let's move on there. Nothing really too much more to add there. Let's have a look at the Independent here. Row as Reform councillors back spending £150,000 political advisor. We talked about that already. Local authorities should be given control of council tax, MPs warns. Bagnall brings back James Cleverly as top leader, reshuffle tops teams. Grieving families warn there's inheritance tax to be applied to pensions. Work until we die? ? Readers outraged over retirement age review. Yeah, can we stop subjecting people to working for the rest of their lives? You know, some people don't want to be working all their lives, you know. Teenagers to run at Reform-led council budget with £500 million budget. Yeah, I know, insane. Fair or gerrymandering? Readers split on voters at 16. Who is Farage's later recruit from the drink driving the child shooting? Reform council leader backs police to shoot people. Reform council leader says police should be able to shoot people if necessary. The Reform council leader said police should have the proper backing to shoot people. How well has that gone in America? A Reform UK council leader said police should be given powers to shoot people if necessary as the party launches a crackdown on crime. Kent County Council leader Leland Cameron said police forces should have the proper backing to shoot those who pose a risk to officers and members of the public. Speaking at Times Radio, must give our police force the proper backing to be able to do their job to catch criminals, to shoot people if necessary. if they feel that their person is going to present a real and present danger to either themselves and to or for members of the public. Yeah, but you're talking about shooting people. Talking about shooting people. Sorry, this isn't America here. It's not. We don't have a gun problem here. Like, we do have... Okay, let me take that back. We do have a minor gun issue. But it's not the same as America. I hate this. People like that. Ozzy Osbourne sparks death sparks outpouring of grief from the music community, rightfully so. Yep, rest in peace, Ozzy. Pain Dame hits out a council attack on library storytime events. Scrapping qualifications for over 16s could leave thousands unemployed. Asylum hotel data to be shared with food delivery firms. Why? Local authorities to be given council control. We looked at that already. Prince William Harry Cousins, not interested. Florida Attorney General targets a restaurant over an LGBT pride event. AOC gets death threats as HQ vandalized by anti-Israeli supporters. Yeah, AOC, like, here's the... for those who don't know the story, I really should have covered this yesterday. But Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she voted for an amendment that was proposed by Marjorie Taylor Greene, that basically prohibits funding for the Iron Dome project from the US to Israel's Iron Dome project, basically, which is against what, which is why people are angry with her. But she thinks but she's getting it mixed up. She's telling everyone, no, I actually voted against the bill itself. I voted against the bill itself. Yes, you voted against the bill itself, but the amendment you didn't. You voted for the amendment by Marjorie Taylor Greene, which consists of US funding towards the Iron Dome project in Israel, which you should be against. So that's why people are mad at her. And the way she's responded to it has been nothing short of disgrace. Well, I say disgraceful is a bit extreme. Shit, really. And it's a real shame as well, because AOC's, she's one of my favourite politicians in the US. So, I'm really disappointed in her. But not every politician is perfect, and unfortunately, she, like everyone, has flaws. Anything else here worth mentioning or looking at? Probably not. Just a quick reminder, guys, there's no PMQs today. So there won't be no live stream at 12 o'clock. And I'll be a live stream later on tonight at 8 o'clock for the Snowflake Watch. Just for reference there, guys. There will be a live stream tomorrow as well called Snowflake on America. We'll be covering news from America as well. This is the iPaper. Bagging up brings in leadership rival to keep members happy as Tories struggle. Home Office pressure child migrants to say they were over 18. God, why is this so warm in here? Temperature's supposed to be low, yet it still feels really warm in here. How your employer could be forced to pay more into your pension pot. Risk of summer riots over rapid immigration and cost of living, Sverina warns. What else is there? Any other? This is all politics, isn't it? Let's try front page. Let's see what we've got the front page of the iPaper here. We Are Brightly and other rogue fundraisers could face tougher laws. The Metropolitan Police says several organisations calling for bigger fines to impose on companies collecting cash donations illegally. Anti-Zelensky protests in Kiev as Klitschko brothers join demonstrations. What? Anti-Zelensky protests. Oh, I need to read more on that. I can't open it here, guys. It's behind the paywall. Extra 5G mobile masts to be built across the UK to boost phone signal. Yeah, that should have been done already. And education there. That's from the iPaper there. Let's have a look at the Financial Times, see what the Financial Times are saying. Just a reminder, Morning Brew with Graham Hughes will be starting at 9 o'clock. And then at 10:30, Dave McGinnis will have the morning paper review there, guys. As other live streams on this morning. UK borrowing rises to more than expected in June to 20.7 billion. That's from the Financial Times here. Major AI data center planned for T-Works site here. Plans to be unveiled as department clash over the energy consumption and storage infrastructure. An explainer of how Britain enacted investors back its costly new power plant. Taxpayers will bear the most of the cost and risk, while most of the funding is in the form of government loans. That's not good. Reeves defends retreat over planned bill as tactical move to speed up reforms. UK Chancellor says she cares more about supporting families on the housing market than protecting snails. All the UK musicians set for windfall after record labels back plans. Mike Estate and business partners must pay $740 million to HB Enterprise Court rules. Lead Birmingham Council troubleshooter resigns abruptly. Commissioner Max Corn has been leading British Sea Council's bankrupt local authorities since 2023. Yeah, it is a very stressful role of being Birmingham City Council, especially when you've got the bin strikes taking place as well. That's very, very frustrating to say the least there. Let's have a look, guys, and see what's happening in the Times. I've had a gustful of hearing about them, says Trees Neck. Yeah, well, I reform just drives me up the wall, doesn't it? This is from the Times here under politics. MPs open hostile to Starmer's pick of Equality's watchdog chief. Two Commons Committee refuses to endorse Mary Ann Stifferson, but are likely to be overruled by the Equalities Minister. Repair so-called fabric of risk repeat of summer riots as number 10. Women and children will suffer for most overseas aid cuts. Unites McCluskey through to Champions League final in private jet. So he kind of divides his New York mayor's Trump called a lunatic. Bagging words. Cleverly returns to frontline politics. Rachel Reeves refuses to rule out wealth tax despite fresh warning. Yep, don't rule it out. Reform Council 19 elected as leader of the county council. Yeah, we talked about that already. Just how popular is Keir Starmer? Not right now, not very popular. People smugglers to be named first time in new sanctions regime. It's not going to stop smuggling at all. Rayner blocked from allowing councils to tax tourists. Yeah, that would hurt the tourist industry. I'm not in favour of a tourist tax, I'm not in favour too much of a tourist tax. It depends. I would say it depends on that one. I'm not keen on it, shall we say. I know some countries do have their own tourist tax as well. I think you had it in Portugal, because I remember when I went to Portugal, I had to pay a tax at the hotel. I wasn't aware of that. I had to pay a tax as well, which really pissed me off, because I was like, if I wish I was told that, like when I was not told that until I got there, which was very, very annoying. Which is something that when I booked the holiday that I did, they never told me when I was going to Portugal that I'd be paying a tourist tax, which, you know, if I had been told that, if I knew it in advance, I wouldn't complain, I wouldn't have been bothered, but I was never told. Blair urged to delay impatient British Iraq invasion, archives reveal there. Just got about 2 minutes left. Let's have a look at the Tory Telegraph, or the Reform Telegraph here. Police take pro-migrant protesters to asylum hotel. This is to try and paint the pro-asylum protesters as bad people when they're not. They're simply just trying to protect the migrants from the evil far-right thuggeries who want to cause harm. Laws to allow UAE to stakes in Telegraph approved by Lords. It shouldn't be allowed. Shreen accused doctors of complete disdain for patients after strike talks fail. Pensioner 86 found murdered in small Somerset village. My absolute condolences to the pensioner and any friends and family of that person. Really, really do. Shotgun owners forced to wait a year for new licenses. I don't have a problem with that. In fact, they should be waiting 5 years. You know, they don't. What do they need a shotgun? What do you need a shotgun for? Like, what do you need a shotgun in the UK for? Answers on a postcard, please. Sadiq Khan to give advice to Zola Mandabi after the New York primary win. I don't think Mandabi needs advice right now. I think he's doing just fine. I will say, obviously, Sadiq Khan has been mayor for quite a long time as well. And my hope is that Mandami is also mayor for a long time as well there on that matter as well. I'm going to leave Barline Times because we're just coming up to the time slot here. Let me just have a look. What are you guys saying? They blame Antifa for the unrest, says Dirtry's Neck. Yeah, probably do there. I've had a guts full of hearing about them, says Dirtry Neck. You guys talking about change in tutor there, and that's about it. You tell them Regain is a Towley low, says Mithril. All right, guys. That's the end of Regan's new. Good morning with Regan and Elite. I'll be back tonight at 8 o'clock for the Snowflake Watch. I'm sure there'll be plenty of clips and videos we'll be looking at together, watching and reacting to. So you guys can join me for that at 8 p.m. Please feel free to do so. So I am going to be going out for a proper walk today. I'm looking as well, even if it does drizzle a little bit as well. But thank you guys all for coming along. Thank you, Alston, for the £5 super chat. Really appreciate it to get the day going. At least always whenever I get any kind of super chats or gifted memberships, it makes it just really does help financially support me, guys, because memberships and super chats are what's basically helps pay the bills, because this is my main source of revenue, guys. But if you're listening to this and you can't financially support me, one of the best ways you can financially support me, guys, is by hitting the like button, sharing this across social media. If you ain't subscribed, consider subscribing. If you can, watch some of my videos or short videos and leaving comments down below on them. All those kind of things that help boost the YouTube algorithm. That is a way of you financially supporting me, even if you can't directly financially support me yourself. So if you guys want to support me those ways, please feel free to do so as well. But yeah, thank you guys all for coming along. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, whatever you guys have got planned. And hopefully I'll catch you in one or two other live streams today as well. But that's all from me. So thank you all so much for coming. And I hope to catch you all very, very soon.